Hi guys, in today's video we'll be continuing our work on the WinForms application, but we'll be taking a deeper look at the label object. The label object lets you put text in and around the user interface of your application, and there's a few properties you can use to change the styling, such as the font, the foreground color, the background color. So let's have a look at those in Visual Studio. So continuing on from where we got to yesterday, we've got our WinForms application. We've got a basic user interface with a label and a button. I'm going to delete the button. You just click on it and press delete because we won't be using that today. And I'm actually going to jump into our code behind file and we're going to look at some of the different options we can change on our label variables. So we'll click on top label dot. We'll look at visible. So visible is really cool because it lets you hide or show a label. So we might set visible to false. And you'll see that our label is no longer visible. We could set it to true, obviously, that would bring it back. And that's actually the default value that we set in the designer. So if we just jump into the designer, click on our label. If we click on alphabetical here, just so it sorts them in alphabetical, and actually visible is the bottom one. So we've set it to be true in our designer here, so it will just default to true. But when our program runs, we can also set that to false if we want. Another interesting one to look at is the fore color. So we could set the fore color to color.red. And if we hover over fore color, you'll see that it's actually a color type. So we can use the color object to return the red color variable. And that will, if we run our program, set the text to red. Now, in addition to fore color, we also have back color. We can set that to anything we want as well. Let's say black. And we'll run our program. And you see we now have a label with a black background and red text. Let's just make that a bit less aggressive and we'll set it to white. So another thing you can do with labels is you can give them a border. So you can say welcome message, and we can go to border style equals border style dot, and we could have, I don't know, fixed single. I'll give us just a single line around the outside. So if we go and run that, see we've got our white background, our red text, and our black border. So another thing we can do is we can change the font of our label. So we can say LBL welcome message dot font. And what we actually have to do is we have to instantiate a new font. So we'll say equals new font. And we have to pass in here a font family. So say font family dot, and there's a few standard ones we can look at. Let's just look at generic serif. And we can set a style. Oh, we can set a size. We can set a size and a style. So let's do that. So let's set a size of 50 and a font style of, I don't know, let's make it bold. So we'll just stop and have a look at what's going on here. So we've instantiated a new font because a lot of the properties inside a font are read-only. So whenever we want to change the font, we just have to assign a new font. We are using the font family called generic serif. We're setting it to 50 pixels high, and we're saying it has a font style of bold. If you just look in there, you'll see we've also got things like italic, regular, strikeout, underline. But I'm going to go with bold. And if we go ahead and run our program, so we've now got a very big title and bigger font with a serifed font versus what we had before. So that looks a lot more prominent and interesting. Probably not my first UI sort of choice for sexiness, but you know, it gets the job done, and it's something you can update on your label variables. So those are the sort of general properties that you can access on the label, and these are the ones that you'll probably access the most. Probably not so much border, but definitely foreground color, background color, text, or whether or not something's visible. The visible one is really useful, say, if you only want to show certain bits of data at certain times, or maybe after a button's clicked, you might show a label. And fonts, obviously very good for changing the way that things look or how prominent they are on the screen. So I'd suggest going away and creating a few labels, giving them sensible names like we've discussed, and then updating some of the styling information on them so you can get a feel for what sort of stuff is possible. Maybe play with different fonts and different font styles and see how you get on. Hi, I hope you found that video useful. If you have any comments or feedback, then please leave me a comment below. I'm currently doing new videos every single day, so if you'd like to be notified about those, then hit that subscribe button, and I will see you in the next one.